Christmas Eve, 7 years ago, a drunk man with an empty whiskey bottle is staggering through the streets on the cold blizzard night. He throws his bottle as it smashes to the ground. As he walks along the street, he slips and bangs his head on a pavement curb. His brain injured and blood pouring out from his head onto the pavement as he lays lifeless. The next day, a man walks in to the hospital wearing a leather jacket, a jumper, some fingerless gloves, some tight jeans and boots, and also a scarf. Goes to the coroner. The coroner then asks Scrooge, "So, yes, Mr. Marley did not have any next of kin, so you were the first person on his emergency contacts?" Yeah, just show me the body and let me be sure it's him." "Are you sure you want to look now, Mr. Scrooge?" Yeah, just let me see." The coroner lifts up the blanket as it is revealed to be Jacob Marley, laying lifeless. Scrooge then says, "Yeah, that's him, Jacob Marley. It's a shame. Such a good partner as well to work with. Well, I'll best be going. We'll sort out the funeral and what have you in the new year, of course." 7 years later, Scrooge is then taking the television and other possessions from an elderly couple, as they are in debt. The old man tells Scrooge, "You can't take all this, it's Christmas Eve. Please, Mr. Scrooge, about a week I could get my pension." "Well, I'm sorry, but you owe the debt office a great deal, and as the bailiff, I've come to collect." Good day, Mr. Old Man." "It's Mr. Oldman." "I'm sorry about this, Mr. Oldman. I hope you have a good Christmas," says Bob Cratchit, wearing a coat and a scarf, holding a clipboard and paper. Scrooge pops everything into the van. He then asks Cratchit, "Where to next then, boy?" The lenders." "Well, let's go to them." The woman at the house, Mrs. Lender, says, "Oh, please, Mr. Scrooge, have a heart. We've got until the new year to pay up. Me and my husband will be back New Year's Eve. We can sort it all then for you." "Yeah, well, it says that you're in debt and your deadline is today, so I'm going to have to take some of your stuff. But please don't take any of the presents." "I'm sorry, but I'm just doing my job, Mr. Cratchit. Also, put the DVD player as well in the van." "Damn you, Mr. Scrooge. I hope you have a Merry Christmas." "Yeah, bar humbug to that," says Scrooge. As Cratchit and Scrooge get some coffees to warm up, they walk past a homeless man with a beard, saying to Scrooge, "Could you spare us some change?" Scrooge walks off, ignoring him. As for Bob Cratchit, he gives him a few pounds saying, "Sorry, this is all I've got." "Ah, bless you, sir," said the homeless man. Then Scrooge shouts Cratchit over to come to him. As the day draws to a close, Scrooge then says, "Well, that's it for today. Well, I guess you're going to ask me for the day off tomorrow." "Well, it is once a year, and, well, my boy's going to come out of hospital tomorrow, just for the day, just so we can have Christmas at home." "Yeah, well, I guess you've earned it. But listen here, you better be working extra hours Boxing Day." Yes, Mr. Scrooge." "Good. Well, I guess I'll leave you with the van." Scrooge then gets out of the van and walks to the nearest pub. Everyone celebrates in joy and festivities as Scrooge just sits at the bar alone, sipping a whiskey, until a young chap walks up to him, saying, "Happy Christmas, Uncle Ed." "Ah, Fred, how is it?" "Well, you know, Christmas Eve." "No one should be alone," said Fred. "Well, I assume you're here to ask me if I want to join you for Christmas dinner tomorrow." "Well, yes. You know, every Christmas is only once a year. How about it, Uncle Ed?" "Nah. You ask me every year, and every year I give you the same answer. Well, every year I hope you change your mind." "Yeah, well, I'll have to decline. The only thing I need tomorrow is my good friend Jack Daniels. Now, aren't you sort of now? You had your yearly visit from me." "Very well. You know what? You're a very stubborn man, Uncle Ebeneezer." I don't like being called that." "Yeah, well, I'm off. Good boy." As Fred leaves, Scrooge orders another drink. Shortly after, Scrooge walks home, smoking a cigarette. As he walks past the same tramp that asked him for change, he went, "You got any you got any change?" Scrooge again walks past him and ignores him. As Scrooge walks on, he then notices the street where Marley died. 7 years ago today. Ah, well, Jacob, he was a good un. Scrooge then continues walking home. He then goes to his block of flats and walks up the steps. And then, as he's about to unlock his door, on the door he sees none other than the face of Jacob Marley, saying to him, "Scrooge." Scrooge jumps in fright and closes his eyes and shakes his head, and then just says to himself, "I've got to stop drinking too much." Scrooge then goes into his flat and switches on his cooker and warms up. Later he's sat watching telly in his armchair, drinking whiskey and smoking a cigarette, saying to himself, bloody Christmas specials. Scrooge then closes his eyes and drifts off to sleep. He then is awoken by a voice saying, "Scrooge." He wakes up and says, "Who's there? Go away." "Scrooge," calls the voice, as he hears rattling chains coming up the stairs. He then says, "Look, is it what are you lot mucking about? This isn't funny, you know. I might as well call the police on you." Then, in a beam of light under the door, 2 feet are standing where he can see the shadow. The door knocks 3 times. He says, "Get out," shouted Scrooge. Then another 3 knocks, louder. Then, after Scrooge tells the person to go away, the doors unlock. The latch comes undone, the chain unravels, and the door unlocks. Then, bursting through the door in a cold wind, Scrooge is then face to face with none other than his old friend Jacob Marley, wearing a brown leather coat and chains on his ankles. He then says, "Scrooge." Scrooge looks and says, "Okay, you're edging off. Who are you?" The man then says, "I was your partner, remember?" "Jacob Marley? No, this is madness. I've had one too many. I'm seeing things." "Oh, you're not seeing things. Mind if I have a drink of whiskey?" As he pours himself one. He then sips it as it spills onto the floor, and he goes, "Boo!" Goes through me every time, that. "What do you want?" "What do I want? Well, Ebeneezer." "Oi, I don't like being called Ebeneezer, alright? That's too old-fashioned. My name's Ed. Ed Scrooge." Yeah, whatever. I'm just here to warn you." "About what?" "What's with the chains?" "Oh, these chains. They're a constant reminder for all the wrong I've done in life. See, I'm here to tell you now that you're going to be visited by 3 spirits. And also, I've been putting these chains for all eternity as a constant reminder. Every year at the anniversary of my death, the chains get tighter and heavier as I have to drag more things around that you can see here, revealing boxes and presents." He then says, "What are you on about?" "Well, like I just said," said Jacob. "I'm here to warn you that you're going to be visited by 3 spirits, and I'd treat them with respect." "Treat you with respect?" "Yeah. The spirits will be people you knew, know, and will know." "People I knew, know, and will know?" said Scrooge. "Yes," said Jacob. Jacob then walks up to the window and then says to Ed, "Look at all that. All these people." Scrooge then looks out the window as he sees ghosts floating and flying everywhere. He then asks, "What is this?" Jacob Marley then says, "Oh yeah, the 2 nights a year that ghosts are most active are Halloween and Christmas Eve. I've been walking around this earth that has felt like an eternity, all to find you." Jacob then says, "Well, Ed, I best be getting off." "What do you mean?" "Expect the first spirit by the strike of 1. Scrooge then says, Can't they just all come at once so it's over and done with? No, said Jacob as he joins the other ghosts in the air. Only you can see them one at a time. I just hope that you can change your ways so it's not too late. Then all the ghosts are gone and Scrooge is looking out the window. Scrooge closes his window and wraps up as it's cold. He then resumes watching television and drinking whiskey and smoking cigarettes as he dozes off and falls asleep. Then, when the clock strikes 1, Scrooge abruptly wakes from his sleep, thinking that he is dreaming. He then goes into the bathroom, and just as he's about to splash water in his face, underneath the bathroom door is again another beam of light, and a voice is heard saying, Eddie, Eddie, Ebeneezer Scrooge, as a young womanly voice is heard. Scrooge walks up to the door in his bathroom and then says, Who's there? Go away, he says. He turns the doorknob and opens. Then, for a split second, he is blinded by the bright light walking through, as he is about to meet the spirit of Christmas past.